Everyone in the service industry has a story. Crazy customers, wild orders, and WTF moments. Do You Want to Start a Tab? The podcast here to bring you those tales from behind the bar. My name is Carl. I've been bartending now for almost 11 years. I have some stories to share.
My name's Riley. I bartended for like 6 months, and I like watching Carl's stories.
So today we are thrilled. It's just oozing out of me. We have our second guest, and she's actually a bartender.
And our first in-person
guest. Her name is Keri, and I don't ever know how to say her last name correctly.
That's okay. I'll say it. Schwanekamp.
See? There you go.
It's not necessary. It's all good.
So at the hotel I work at, there's a restaurant called Caroline's. I used to bartend there. Wasn't even bartending on Sunday. It was more of just making coffees for fucking people and Bloody Marys. But anyways, Keri would show up, a little hungover, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get some breakfast, and yeah, we just hit it off. And now she is one of my bartenders in the hotel at the Riverboat Lounge. What else do you do?
Yeah, so I've been bartending off and on for about 8-9 years-ish, and I've done a little bit of every type of bartending, from fast-paced, high-volume show venues to super slow-paced martini bars, all the way to the worst, which is, you know, your stereotypical chain restaurant. We have a birthday song type of places.
God.
And, you know, like worst nightmares, you know, like that's, you know, all of it. So been there, been through all of it. And this is the first time second time I'm doing a hotel bar, but this is the first time I'm liking it. So
Yay.
It's pretty great.
That's impressive considering you work with Carl.
You married the fucker.
Hey,
Man.
I'm just being diplomatic.
I have all the regrets.
We're too cheap to go buy a lawyer. So, well, we're excited to have this on. And so what we do here on this podcast is we read stories as the police car drive by.
So rude.
Yeah, right.
They
How
should
dare
have checked
they?
the schedule. I mean,
Right. Don't they see the red flashing light says we're recording in here?
the absolute caucasity.
So we read stories off the internet, and then we react to those stories, bartender stories, guest stories about bar life, bar experiences, and we say who is the asshole in the story, and we critique the story, saying maybe how things should have been handled.
Right.
Then we rate it 1 through 5, 1 being your average bar story, and 5 being your rare occurrence, you know, oh my God story.
Right.
And yeah, and so then we're going to do one story, then Keri's going to share a story that she has experienced, either as a guest or as a bartender. We don't know the story that she's going to tell us. And then we're going to tell you if she's the asshole in the story or not.
Perfect.
Perfect. And so
Keri's always the asshole.
Ooh.
she and I kind of have the same bartending personality when it comes to guest interactions. We kind of just tell it as is, and we just go with the flow. So
And you both like to give people shit where it's
Yeah,
due.
I mean, come on. Like, who doesn't want to? I mean, you got to reciprocate the shit that they give you,
Right.
right? I mean, you have to match the energy of the person that's present, right? So,
Right.
Every episode we share a drink. What are we drinking today, Carl?
I'm calling it the Infinity Stone. Name still up in the air because we just made it. So we take your infinity bottle. If you don't know what that is, it's a bottle where you put all your last ounce or two of whiskey into the same bottle, and it's always blended and always going to be different tasting. So in theory is infinity and will be there forever. So anyways, 2 ounces of that. And then I did 2 different Amaris. Basically, this is a Black Manhattan. And let's see.
Which Amari did you use?
Fine.
Did you use Montenegro?
No. I used this one.
The Lucano?
Yep.
all right, that's a sexy bottle.
And then I used this one.
Okay.
So they're both bottles that we got while we were in San Diego, and we haven't really.
The Lucano I bought at Vans.
Oh, we got that one in San
Yeah.
Diego. The Maria Al Montanente.
Don't even try.
Yeah. Anyways, follow us on Instagram, and I will
post the
bottles on there.
We'll get him started on Duolingo.
English.
He'll start with the English language first.
You have a 200-day streak, and you can pronounce kindergarten words.
We're the
You can
only
pronounce
country that
kindergarten
still
words.
presents English as like an advanced subject, and it's the only language we know.
So yeah, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's boozy, of course, and that's what we asked Keri what she wanted, and
I was like, spirit forward, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really well balanced, and it's got some sweetness to it, which I like. I'm into a sweet Manhattan, not like super sweet, not old fashioned
Right.
sweet, but you know.
Yep.
I'm here for the cherry at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I knew if I made this in dinner.
Who doesn't want that?
Right.
Come on.
So this is from the subreddit entitled Karen's,
Oof.
and it's called Karen Wanted the Perfect Margarita.
Of course you did.
Of course she did. Oh, are we ready?
Yep. When was it posted?
It was posted 5 months ago
Okay.
by the user Aggressive T 2690.
All right. Thank you, Aggressive Tea.
Yes. When I use to bartend and serve tables at an Irish pub that obviously specializes in Irish beers, whiskey, etc., I dealt with a mega Karen. It was a Saturday night and a concert just let out. When this happens, we get extremely busy. One server called off that night, so I had 12 tables all to myself. I was very busy. All my tables were so awesome until the mega Karen walked in with 3 other people. I went to greet them to get their drinks. When I asked Karen for her drink order, it was the most insane drink order I've ever received at an Irish pub. A frozen peach and strawberry margarita with extra sugar on the rim and 5 strawberries on the rim. Yes, she specified 5. Ordering
No. No.
No. How about you can have a shot of tequila and I'll give you 5 strawberries in a cup.
if I have them.
If I
It's an
have
Why
strawberries,
Irish pub.
Why does
Why
okay?
does
So
Irish-
yeah. Okay. So let's. Sorry, we're doing. We're
doing the
it's
thing.
my fault. We're doing
Keep
the thing.
going.
Ordering a blended drink at an Irish pub is extremely rare. Our cooks were behind, so I had to cut up the strawberries myself while the bartenders dusted off the blender. JK, but you get the point. To make her drink. We didn't have the right peach flavoring, so I just made the strawberry margarita with the sugar on the rim. After I was finished cutting up the fucking strawberries, I placed them on the rim and walked the drinks over to the table. Keep in mind, I still have 11 other tables. The second I set her drink down, she pushed it off the table, in all caps. I walked away because I was so angry. I went immediately to the owner of the bar and almost in tears because I was so mad. He was so mad because he saw me cutting up the strawberries for her and asked why I was doing that, but appreciated the fact that I was helping the cooks out and was shocked when somebody ordered a drink like that. After explaining to him what she had done, he went over to the table and kicked them out.
I love him.
I will marry him. If you're out there and you're hearing this, man.
I'll never forget the feeling of standing behind the owner with this large grin on my face, watching her get kicked out. She glanced at me and I waved bye with my biggest smile on my face. She looked so infuriated. I'll never forget the look on her face with 6 chins. I'm so glad I didn't have to endure her food order. Best boss ever. The previous restaurants I worked would have told me to suck it up.
Oh my god. So let's start with where we kind of were going in the middle of this.
Yeah.
It's an Irish pub.
Don't order a margarita.
I would have brought her a Guinness. I'm like, here you go. Exactly what you wanted.
I don't understand why I don't even care what kind of bar it is. It's like, first of all, of course, yeah, an Irish pub, that's ridiculous. But second of all, if you got, you visibly, you're a person, right? You've eaten in a restaurant before, right? So you can see when it's busy. You can see at least a little bit, right?
Right.
So why would you order anything that's really gonna, I mean, if you want your service to be efficient.
Also, do you know how expensive strawberries are? Fuck off with your 5 strawberries.
Yeah. I think we should charge that bitch a dollar,
dollar
per
per
strawberry.
strawberry.
Fuck you, you know?
Who the fuck orders a
Honestly.
frozen margarita
At an Irish
at
pub.
an Irish pub? Like, I can maybe see if you want a margarita, they got it, sure. We'll make you a real fast shaken one and call it a day.
They probably have a blender just because they had a blended Irish coffee special at
Yeah,
some point.
you know,
And
some like Brandy Alexander shit or some
Yeah.
special or something. Shamrock shit.
Shamrock shake. I don't know. Blenders are always broken. That's what I tell people. It's broken.
It's broken. It's always broken.
But where is it? It's broken. It's not out here. Why would it be out here if it's
I
broken?
mean, the one time I did work I worked at a, stupid, I can't say, like, I'm calling it the OG. I don't think, I shouldn't say like the actual name. Like, the very common, popular Italian in quotes, chain restaurant that everyone's
So you worked
very
for Olive
familiar.
Garden.
Yeah, right. So I worked for
It's all right.
Olive Garden. And, You know, it was all right. Like, it wasn't the worst bartending job in the world. It wasn't fun by any means. It felt like a lot of work. It wasn't social. It was a lot of blending drinks. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. But also, we had this bomb-ass Vitamix in like 5 different containers.
Right.
And we had a whole system for that. Like, I had a dishwasher in front of me washing dishes. It's very easy.
The Mexican restaurant was the same with all the daiquiris and the frozen margs.
Yeah.
But like we had 3 blenders, but then we had like 6 of the containers.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have that, that's fine. But like
It's like the capacity to do that job.
Right. When I
Right.
went at Winterfest, we had one old school 80s, 90s blender with one thing. And then you try to do 4 different ice cream drinks. I tell the table, like, no, you get one. Like, you guys need it. And like, you know, bitch, I'm like, I can't spend 20 minutes on 4 different ice cream
Absolutely
drinks
not.
when the restaurant's completely full.
You can order 4 of the same thing if I can make it in the same container.
Right. But so that's just ridiculous. Like, whoever her husband or boyfriend or brother or friend,
get
like,
your friend, get your friend, get your wife, get your sister, get your friend. Like, you know she's gonna do that, and you know her family and friends were just sitting there like, oh fuck, hero Karen. Here she go.
She's one of those women that like if I were to be going out and having lunch with my friends, I wouldn't invite her.
Right.
Because you know she's gonna pull some shit.
it's that bitch on waiting, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm not done with my salad yet. Well, do you want me to take? No, I never. You know, it's like that woman, that interaction. That's what this is. Like, she's trying to do this, probably try to get some free shit at the end of the day. Like, well, you
on
didn't make
site,
this.
on site. You know she's ready for that coupon. She's ready to come back.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna give you a coupon or give you a free gift certificate. I'm not gonna give you shit because I don't want you to come back.
No, everything free.
Like, I don't want you to ever come back.
And also everything free you would have just gotten is now mine because you broke a glass.
Mm-hmm.
You pushed it
Right.
off the table. That's so
That's
fucking rude.
disrespectful. Like, that's just so disrespectful.
That's
What-
another level.
What about all the other guests? They're watching all of this, right? And I would have tipped her more. Like, you know, I tipped, 20, 25%, man. All right, here's 30%. Just for you having to deal with it.
Like there are people that you go out to dinner with that you have an extra couple bucks in your pocket that you leave on the table
Always.
when you leave.
Oh Lord, the amount of times I've done that.
So I think this is going to be the first time where we talk about the hero of the story. We never actually, like I said,
Yeah.
we always talk about
the
who they
hero is
have.
the owner. Come
The-
on,
the-
like,
right,
let's go
absolutely.
On site, the hero is
Best owner ever.
Yes.
Like, I don't even need to meet
He's
them.
like, I don't care about their business. I don't care about their bills. They're gone.
You do not
Man.
talk to my employees and
Right.
show
No.
disrespect to my
so
establishment.
unnecessary. Like, what a great owner.
Pushing the shit off the table.
So there's this thing I've heard people say, like, who's a zero and who's a hero.
Yeah.
That bitch was a fucking zero.
Right.
Yeah.
And he is a fucking hero.
Absolutely.
Like, who's the zero?
Oh, that's on Shark Tank, the blonde who does.
Is that what she says?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an original callback to Disney's 1997 Hercules, but
Ooh, very nice. Deep cut, deep cut.
this song is called Zero to Hero. It's not that deep.
It's a deep cut for me because I forget that shit.
And also her throwing shade with the whole bye. You know, like at the
Yeah.
end, I would have loved it. That would have. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
really throwing shade. That's just doing what
That
you
is
needed.
throwing shade. That's the
that's true.
definition.
I would have got my whole section to applaud their exit.
Right.
I would have been like, everybody give it up. Give it
I
up
would've got,
for Karen.
You know,
Yeah.
this is 5 months ago. I would have got on my phone and got the hit the road, Jack, and then put,
I would
play
have been
that
like,
song on.
bitch, world star. Like, bye.
So what do we want to go ahead and Keri? What do you think? 1 through 5. What again? 1's being like an average bar story here. 5 being like super extreme. What you can do? You can do points. You can do whatever.
I'm gonna give it a 4 because of it's really that audacity that she had to push the glass off of the table.
Right.
Like that's so like deliberate. Like that's like the cats that are looking at something and they know they know you're watching them
Yeah.
and they're just about and then they just pop it up. There goes the glass of water. Like that's a cat. Like this is just antagonizing. That's
Yeah.
so the antagonistic nature of the story. I would give it a 4.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. But like for me, I think it doesn't deserve a 4 because of the escalating levels of audacity.
Yeah.
First, she came to an Irish pub and ordered a margarita.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ordered a blended margarita.
Yep.
Then she added 2 different flavors to it. Then she demanded 5 fucking strawberries.
Yeah, that's
Then she pushed it off the table. Yeah, absolutely not.
So what are you giving it?
4.
A 4. So, I mean, it's all that, then plus the pushing it off, but then the owner stepping up and booting them. Like, that's the cherry on the cake. And I think that's
snaps.
a 4-2 for me.
Right.
Snaps.
Yes.
There's our first and last snaps on this podcast.
I can't snap my fingers.
If you listen quietly, you can hear. That was a good story. It's just, oh, there's so many levels. 4.2.
4.2?
4.2.
Yeah, it's the pushing the glass off the table for me that really,
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. And if you have a story that you want to share, if you were a guest that maybe saw this whole interaction happen, or you participated in something this stupid or fun, put it on our subreddit. Do you want to start a tab? The link is in the description of however you're listening to this podcast. And while you're clicking that beautiful link to our subreddit, go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It greatly helps us out, gets us to more people's ears and more stories for you to enjoy. Rate it whatever you want, 1 through 5. 5 being the best.
5 is the best.
Yeah. And so you can follow us on all social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So, Keri, do you have a story for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know you have like a million stories.
I mean, I have a million, but I'm gonna go with the most recent one at our beloved Riverboat Lounge. Most recent one for the place where we work together. So, a few months ago, I'll give you a little bit of background. So there's usually 1 to 2 bartenders on, and then we've got our security / barback, Brett, who's fabulous, big white bald dude with tattoos. That's relevant to
But
the
who's
story.
also like the sweetest human I have ever
yeah.
met in
I
my
mean,
life.
we're talking total angel. He's a total angel.
His daytime job is he works at a high school and he works with the kids with learning disabilities.
Yeah.
That's his day job.
Like, he's so sweet.
And then he comes in and he's the badass at
he gets to be the good cop and the bad cop all the time.
Right.
So like those are his 2 jobs. He's good cop, bad cop. So playing bad cop at the bar, right? Carl had left or he was not working that night. I can't remember if it was a Thursday or a Saturday, but it was a relatively...
It had to be Saturday because Brett doesn't work Thursday.
Oh, true. Okay, so it was a Saturday night and Carl had already gone. So I was left to my devices, which is normally, as long as it's a chill night, not so bad. So it was a pretty quiet night. Everybody was pretty nice. I had a few calm symphony goers, had just left the local performance at the theater and stumbled into the bar, a few cocktails, a couple younger guys, some kids that walk in. I would say probably 15, 20 people max at the bar. And then I get this lady that comes in right behind a bunch of the symphony folks, and she's real irritated while I'm making these people some martinis. And I'm like, hey, ma'am, like, I'll be right with you. Like, is there something I can get you? She's like, I need to see a wine list. I was like, great, okay. So I just figured she'll check that out. And I was like, just let me know when you decide what you'd like. So wine list, she's looking it over, and she's like, well, I'll have this. And I was like, oh, actually, we can't provide that by the glass, but I can get you a bottle. She's like, well, I only want a glass. I was like, I'm sorry, like, I just can't sell that by the glass, but I can, get you a bottle of it. You can take it to your room. You don't have to, finish it here.
Right.
And she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll think about it. I was like, okay. So I figured she's still thinking and perusing the list. So I finished the martinis and I come back to her and she's like, well, what about this bottle that it wasn't on the list? She had just said a bottle that was on her mind. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, we don't have that. Like, this is pretty much what we're limited to at this time. Sometimes we change it seasonally, but that's what we've got. Mm-hmm. And she says, oh, fine. Then just give me a shot of Jameson. I'm like, whoa, all right. I'm like, normally people will be like, all right, fine, just give me a glass of your house Pinot Noir,
Right.
But like, it wasn't even anything remotely in the same category. Like, just give me a shot of Jameson. I'm like, all right. Jameson, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I take the card from the other people. I'm like, all right, I'm going to open them a tab, whatever, go get the shot of Jameson, hand it to her. And she just looks at me with like, when people look through you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just like, Like, all right. And at this point, since I wasn't really paying like visible attention to her, I'm seeing like, oh, I should not have served this. She doesn't need alcohol. She needs more help than I can give her. And then it was too late. She already drank it. Slams the shot glass down and yells her room number at me. And I'm like, oh no. And at this point, I'm relatively new to working here. She had what I didn't notice was that underneath the wine list, the drink menu, she had a notebook. She was writing something down. I was horrified. I was like, oh, I've never met the owner of the hotel or the owner's wife. And she was about on age par with that. So I was like, oh no, this is someone this might be someone with the hotel. I feel horrible. Like, what if I've, denied her a glass of wine? I was like, oh no, I probably did something wrong. So anyway, she takes her notebook, swipes out and storms out. I'm like, okay, whatever, maybe not. She's probably just tired, whatever, who knows. So about an hour goes by, nothing crazy. Then a few more people come in. It starts to get a little busier. This woman returns in a bathrobe, opens the door, and comes in carrying, again, her notebook and a bag, only wearing a bathrobe, talks to a couple people. I'm not sure what she said to these people on her way in, but I'm trying to get drink orders caught up for people at the bar. This woman is carrying a can of dog food, yellow can of pedigree. I shit you not, a fucking can of dog food. And in the Wild West, where you slam down a bottle of whiskey or like a cup, or then you slide it down the bar. Yeah. Like, boom, slide, there you go. Like, there's only enough room in this down for one of us, like that kind of thing. Give me another, and I'm like, oh boy. And she does this with the dog food, like slides it down in front of like 5 guests, like almost knocks over. I'm like, okay. This is, can I help you?
What do you want me to do with the dog?
Yeah. She starts screaming. Like, when I tell you nonsense, like, if you've ever played the game The Sims, it's like, those were the words.
Language.
Yeah. I'm like, is this real? And I'm trying to get Brett's attention. Poor angel. And I'm like, Brett, I need you to, can you grab her? Right. This isn't great. And so other people are like, she starts yelling about how her father or her uncle is a dog, and that's why she needed the dog food.
Oh my God.
And her uncle owned the hotel. I'm like, that's not true. It's like, I don't know a lot about this place yet, but I know enough. Like, none of those things are real.
I would have been prepped for that story person to come in.
Whoa. I was like, okay. I was like, this is about to get real. And so Carl has these 2 super fans. They're like 21, 22-year-old kids that come in. Guys, yeah, they're adorable. And they're standing there. So like Carl's super fans are there. They're looking for Carl. They're like, oh, he's not here tonight, guys. And so they're deciding if they're going to go or go somewhere else, or they're going to grab a drink here. And they're in the corner, like, just watching this. Like, they're regulars, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's 21 here. They're like, okay, I guess we'll stick around to see whatever the fuck this is. Like,
Dinneranda show.
Like, this might be cool. And so they're standing in the corner, just, like, waiting, and then she's like, you! And, like, oh, it was so bad. I just saw her. She just did, like, the laser beam eyes right to this kid. This poor 21-year-old.
Wait, is this the scene from Crazy Stupid Love where Emma Stone's hammered walks into the bar?
Bitch, I've never seen this fucking movie. Wait. I've never seen that. I don't watch rom-coms unless it's got Mindy Kaling. I fuck with her. She's great. But nah, dude, this bitch just walked right over to this kid, and she's like, help me, and starts like begging these kids for help. And I'm like, what is going on? And Brett's like, okay, ma'am, she's fucking in a robe. She's in a hotel robe. But it's like, ma'am, I think it's time. Like, you've got to go. Like, Brett's like trying to be reasonable. And he like taps her on the shoulder, and she like swoops, like not swings at him, but just like throws her arm back to like get him off. She's like, get off of me, you racist. Which, by the way, may I remind you, Brett is white, and this is a very white blonde woman. Maybe 5, like all of 5'3". She might have been an inch taller than me. Like very petite, blonde white. She's not wearing shoes, by the way, either. That's right. She's barefoot in a bathrobe. Then proceeds to run around like Brett.
How have I never heard of this story?
How have you not heard? We told you about this. Like
you told me like the what's it when you got to go read the play, but you only get like the
Cliff Notes version.
I gave you the annotated version. Yeah, I mean, it was such a stupid night. And you know, then there's other people that were like, you know, can I have an old fashioned? And I was like, do you see? Can you just give it? Do you see the thing that's happening? Can you just hold on? Like, look
right.
Like, there's a train wreck happening. We have to watch it.
Like, can we like resolve this for a second? Like, and I mean,
I would have brought out a bag of popcorn. Like, we're watching this. Like, you know, like we're not charging admission to this fucking show tonight.
This is the free show. Like, may I remind you? Like, good God. Eventually, she just like, Brett chases her out of the bar through. So instead of the outdoor bar, the outdoors street access doors. There's also doors into the hotel lobby. So he chases her kind of out there where this proceeds. I mean, I have to stay in the bar and like take care of guests, and apologize to them. You know,
right.
like I gave a few more free drinks than I'm probably allowed to that night, but it was completely ridiculous.
Wait, we charge drinks at the hotel?
Yeah, we charge.
Oh, shit. I think I'm gonna fuck it up.
Damn it. No wonder my tips are so good.
No wonder why I made so much money last year.
I had no idea. Oh, really gonna have to rework this.
Did she come back in, or was that the last?
No, that was the last of her. But Brett had to stay out there. She gave okay. So we have these. God love them. I'm sure that they think that they're trying their best. Incompetent children at our front desk at the hotel, and they
the night desk monitors.
Yeah, they're night audit kids. You know, they're kids. What are you gonna do?
They're barely 21 years old.
Like they're kids, and they think they're doing their best. It's fine. And you know, this is one of them has divulged to me that he's very interested in becoming a bartender. He's like, oh, I really want to watch Carl bartend. I really want to like train and learn how to be a bartender. And I'm like, I think you should work on customer service first. I think that's I think you can always learn to bartend, but like right now, what I see from you, like he was having a panic attack. He's like, I'm panicking. This lady's nuts, you know. Like Brett was dealing with it. Brett will handle it. He'll call the cops. It'll be fine. And, you know, so he did. He called the cops. I mean, we had no freaking choice. This lady was absolutely crazy. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with the can of dog food either. I was like, I was just grateful she didn't have a can opener. I'm like, that bitch would have opened that shit. It should have been all over.
I would have made her a new kind of dirty martini.
Oh, gross.
Carl, you would have just given her way too much leash with like, her crazy. You would have given her way too much. It was so bad. And I mean, it is sad, you know, because we find out that, like it's a pretty serious mental health crisis, right? And we already know that that's happening and everywhere in every community, and it is definitely serious, like to that point, you know. It's like she's probably, you know, a victim of her own mental illness, right? Because it's brutal, right?
No, I think that shot of Jameson is what set her off. She was doing perfectly fine.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm the villain here, but you never know.
You should have just opened that bottle of wine and gave her that one glass out of it.
Just given her the fucking wine, right? Like just found the bottle of wine, giving her a fucking glass. But it was so sad. Like we found out that apparently about an hour and a half prior, she had early released herself from the hospital in the psych unit.
Oh, AMA.
Yeah. So
against medical advisement.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then she did have, you know, access to money, credit cards, etc., because her family had initially committed her And then the police were then called after the family found out. She refused to go with her, who seemed to be a very stable, caring partner of some kind, husband, be it husband or boyfriend. Seemingly so, you know. She didn't want to go with him, so she was then put under arrest, and then obviously taken in by the police. But man, it was like my first night alone. It was like,
welcome to the jungle.
Got to be fucking kidding me.
I mean, I think I remember some of that story. Like, I think some of that sounds familiar, but I don't remember being that involved. But again, I mean, that was...
If you weren't there.
Well, it happened so fast. Like, it was like, you know, it was like a 1 minute, you know, circumstance, or like 1 2 minute, like...
Yeah, psychological time feels like 30 minutes, but it was probably only 2.5.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, like what? Because you have to like observe everything that's happening at the same time, and I'm like, this is absolutely like no one's gonna believe me. Like I can't like what am I gonna write up an incident report? Well, this can of dog food, and the lady, and then she was wearing a robe.
I wish we could just go back and like look at the surveillance photos because we have one camera.
I think they had to.
Probably for police just kind of like build up, but. I would love to see that can of dog food on the desk and go.
Just slide. And we have granite countertops.
It's
so it's
black
just like
granite.
just like yellow can of dog.
I've done that with people with beer bottles before, and I don't mean to because I kind of sit there and I will slide it. There's sometimes that thing is really polished, really nice, and the thing just slide a little further.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when the bar is not sticky.
Can't relate.
So yeah, I think we know who the asshole.
I mean,
I can't really call her an asshole for having that kind of.
Who the asshole is? Yeah, I know who the zero. The zero is the goddamn doctor or the nurse that let that bitch out. They never should have let her out.
See, like adults are different, man. They have adults have rights in the medical field, and if you choose to check yourself out against medical advisement, then you check yourself out against medical advisement. Those wards are locked, so she couldn't get out unless it was like. Unless she was able to get out, unless she was able to discharge herself.
Or somebody let her out. Like, let's be real.
But that doesn't happen.
Does it?
No.
Okay. I'm just saying.
She was hot.
She was hot. She was bangable. Like, somebody could have, like, not cared about their job and just been like, oh, whoops. You know?
I mean, to me, it feels more like a negligence situation. Like maybe the door didn't close all the way and she found, but no, if she had checked herself out AMA, that means she was able to check herself out, but she,
I don't know.
But public health crises, that's the real asshole is the public health situation we have in America right now.
Shout out to all the people that are mental health care providers or social workers, or like go donate to your local nonprofits that support things like this not happening. You know, like go help out your local community.
Yeah.
Well, not the first thing, but part of it at the first beginning of the story where she didn't have the one thing that she wanted, and then they flip 180 degrees to something. That happens all the time. Like I want this one thing. Okay, and then I don't have that, or I can't make that, or do this, or do that. Then they choose something off the complete different spectrum. Oh, I want a super fancy cocktail. I want this. I want that. Or you don't have Buffalo Trace. You don't have Eagle Rare. Then just give me a Busch Light. What the fuck?
You're so picky about your whiskey, but you're gonna drink a Busch Light.
You know,
they don't care. They don't give a shit, man.
I've seen then people switch to like White Claw. I'm like, what world do you even like?
They don't care. Sometimes that's just all they want. They only want this, or fuck it.
Yep, it's
might
weird.
as well just have a water.
Yep, exactly. So I'll give that story. Man, that's really up there. I mean, because I've never seen this. I've never been a part of something like that before. So I go 4 or 5 on that bitch. The dog food and the robe, that's the one that sets it off.
The no shoes.
The no shoes.
It's the lack of shoes.
So I remember there was this one hotel we stayed for a weekend. I don't know if this was before.
You said 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. With you, or I don't remember, but I just remember I was walking through the lobby to get to the pool, I think, and I wasn't wearing shoes. I got yelled at all the time by the front desk. You need to wear shoes.
That's fine.
I'm like, sorry, but whatever.
I mean, you could get like some slides.
You couldn't wear flippy floppies.
I didn't have flippy floppies.
At the time, Old Navy sold them for $2.50.
No.
Bitch, I thought they were $1.
At one point, when they had the sales, they were, yeah.
Damn.
I was being generous because I didn't know if Old Navy had them on sale at the time.
Okay. I don't do enough Old Navy. I don't think. Every once in a while.
That's the only. I was a lifeguard, so I had to replace my
I
flip
can so
flops.
see you being a lifeguard. I can so see that.
I had to replace my flip flops once, like every 2 weeks.
I could never work in like a bar that was like a pool. I can't swim for sure.
See,
That would be ironic.
as a
The
former
black bartender that doesn't swim.
I mean, no, that's kind of like on the nose, but
as a former lifeguard who knows about water safety and somebody who knows about alcohol safety, those two things should never be combined.
oh, I know. No, I was listening to this Hannibal Buress joke. I think it was Hannibal. Yeah, Hannibal Buress. And he's like, is it that black people can't swim or is it white lifeguards are racist? It's like, which is it though?
60-40.
Yep. It's like, anybody's guess.
Oof.
So what's your score, Riley?
It's the dog food for me. But like it's also the mental health crisis for me, and maybe it's because I worked in the industry where mental health crises were very common. I mean, yeah, it's got to be a 4.2. It's got to be a 4.2. Just thankfully it didn't get worse.
Right.
Because on the spectrum of mental health crises, that was fairly mild.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, she was eventually like, safely detained and
I don't enjoy
injured.
that the police have to be involved too.
Right, and they tried not to. They tried like calling 3 different people. Like
Yeah.
they could, they got in her phone and they were like, "Hey."
Right.
What do you rate your own story?
I rated a 4.5. Like I say 4.5 because it's, like it can't possibly be the craziest thing that's ever happened.
Right, like,
there's just no.
I got
there's
many
no
more-
way. I have crazier, but they're like strip club bar.
Right.
Like.
Well, and plus we got more nights ahead of us bartending, so
Right.
like,
Oh, yeah.
we have more nights.
What will tomorrow bring?
All right.
Tomorrow you're closed.
Well, today I'm bartending
working
at
tonight.
my other joint, so we'll
Perfect.
see.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up this episode, Keri. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I've been able to be.
And if you want to hear
part of this.
more about Keri's story, go to our Patreon for just like $2 or $3 a month. We haven't set a price, but it's only going to be $2 or $3 a month. We're going to interview Keri for a little bit more, figure out her life a little bit more, her bartending life, and whatever else. And plus, it supports the show.
Support the show. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Tip your bartender and drink responsibly.
Yeah.
And close your tabs.